stand. The pledge will be led by Consuelo Cardenas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, any questions? Or let's get a motion first.
Move to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, now, any questions? Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Spotlight on education.
Yeah, we do have a spotlight on education tonight. Bridgestone America's Tire Operations LLC sponsored a high school perfect attendance incentive. Drawing among perfect attendance students at each high school was conducted. The winning student receiving a set of Bridgestone tires. Bob Mays will introduce Community Relations Coordinator Shelley Morton, who will present us the following students with their award. Before you step up there, Mr. Mays, Mr. Mays gave the board a breakdown of schools in Rutherford County with the number of perfect attendance students in each school. I'm pleased to announce, or at least recognize, that we had 3,439 students with perfect attendance, roughly between 9 and 10% of the student body in Rutherford County. That's as Mr. Dar said last night, that's a significant achievement. You get up and go to school every day, and so anyway, that information's in front of it. All that said, Mr. Mays, you want to step up?
Sure, we all know how important attendance is for education academically, but also in life. We know that employers are happy to have somebody that comes all the time and is there on time. Let me say this about Bridgestone. They have been good partners with us in education. They've helped us a great deal. They have done several things. They go in and teach tire safety in all of the county high schools in driver's education, which is very, very important as kids go out, start to drive, and as many of them as driving to school. I try to avoid as many of them as I possibly can. But anyway, they worked through school art classes. The students painted fences down at Bridgestone. First, they had a contest. The first, second, and third winners received $200 for their art program. They served breakfast at an adopted school, John Coleman, 3 days per week. They have teammates competitions. I guess that's right. And John Coleman School, they painted a cafeteria. They did landscaping at Barfield. They did mulch the playground at David Urey. So you can see they're really involved in a lot of things in the schools. Ms. Morton called me about 2 years ago with the idea of giving away a set of tires to each high school and having one student from the school receive that set of tires. And we did that for the first time last year, and we had some really excited parents because they got those tires and they were glad to get them, that's for sure. But let me introduce Ms. Morton as she comes up now and gives out the certificates for the tires, and then we're going to take some pictures if it's okay with the board and put those to good use. Ms. Morton, this is Shelley Morton, who is the, make sure I get it right, Community Relations Coordinator for Bridgestone.
Right. Thank you very much for having me here. Glad to be here. Like Mr. May said, a couple years ago we started teaching tire safety in driver's ed classes, and we thought, how could we offer a set of tires? Everybody needs tires. And what would be a neat thing to do was offer that through perfect attendance. You know, our B of Bridgestone was to represent B at school. So we put that out there, promoted it, and it's been a good response. And hopefully, I mean, he said 3,400. Of course, that was middle school and elementary also, but been a very good thing. And we are so glad that these kids dedicated themselves to being at school each day, and I thank them for being here, and their parents ensuring that they got there every day. So I'm proud to be here to present these free tires to these worthy students. So, shall I do it right here?
Sure.
That be okay? Okay. The
If
first
they'll
we
step
have-
up here and kind of face that direction, they'll
Okay,
be recognized
that'll
on
be great.
television too.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be great. First one, Blackman High School, Alyssa Thomas.
Listen, you'll just say.
Yeah, stay here, yeah.
Second winner from Eagleville High School, Emily Wilson. And our third, Laverne, who couldn't be here, Toby Alla. But our next one, Oakland High School, Consuela Cardenas. And our next winner from Riverdale, Logan Comers. This might be his dad's car. Thank you, congratulations. And from Siegel, we have Andrew Gardner. And the last one, Smyrna High, Linda Yang.
Okay, we'll keep her. And we'll pass that on to her. I will report, we looked at the grades of these students as we drew their names out of the hat, and the grades were outstanding for each one of them. Obviously, as the attendance goes, so goes the grades. So we're very proud of you, and we wish you the best, and drive carefully on those new tires, okay? He wants to take some pictures, so if you'll hang around for just a sec.
Just so if I get everybody to slide down in this middle table, and Mr. Gill and Mr. Wise, if you would stand up. Please.
Come on down
Come on
closer.
down, guys, don't be shy.
Get closer to each other.
So let's move on in here, down here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How's that?
We're going to turn the projector off so it's not in their eyes, and then we'll be done.
Okay, everybody.
Ready? One more. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you again, Consuelo, for saying the pledge. Anyone have anything to say to these young folks? Jurgen?
I have something to say about attendance. I think that's a job well done. When you talk about approximately 10% of the student body across the system, 100%, that says a lot about the quality. And you're right, Mr. Mays, attendance and grades are certainly tied closely together. Dependability is something that is hard to replace, and that's part of it. And I think these young people are well on the way.
I think that's a good point.
But I think, too, that it's great to have partners like Bridgestone. These businesses are so very important to our school system, and we should never overlook what their contributions, because Mr. Mays talked about the things that those employees do for schools, and that's important.
Anyone else?
I would ask one question. Any of you have perfect attendance for your entire school career? Did your parents ever have to kind of boot you out the door on those days when you wanted to stay home?
They booted me out the door, but I didn't always go.
Good job.
Congratulations. Anyone else?
He had perfect attendance, high school,
Grant did?
62 to 66.
All right.
Well, that was great. My
That's
son
back
did,
when they had
too.
tennis records, I guess.
Thanks again. Okay, visitors, we have none. Facilities, Mr. Gill? Yeah, we can let them go if they wish to. Don't, you're fine to go if you want.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have trying to make you stay there. But don't you want to stay and listen to all the wonderful things we've got to say? Go ahead, Mr. Gill. Sorry.
Facilities. Daniel McKee Alternative School Walking Trail request. Dr. Crispin has requested permission to construct an asphalt walking trail at Daniel McKee Alternative School. It will be 1/7 of a mile in length. Cost of the trail is $18,000 and it will be constructed by Sessions Paving, Rutherford County Schools' current approved paving contractor. Trail will be funded with an $18,000 request from the state of Mr. James E. Taylor. Recommended we approve construction of an asphalt walking trail at Daniel McKee Alternative School at no cost to the board.
You've heard the recommendation. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
B, Roy Waldron Elementary Playground request. Dr. Polly Pewitt, Principal at Roy Waldron, has requested permission to construct a 77-foot by 34-foot playground at Roy Waldron Elementary School. Playground will be funded through a $25,000 grant from the Pepsi Refresh Project, a $10,000 grant from Richard Siegel Foundation, and $5,000 from a fundraiser. It will be located next to the existing playground in the fenced-in area behind the EMS building. The estimated cost for the project is $40,000. Request for bids will be advertised and the lowest and best bid will be brought back to the board for approval. Recommend that you approve the construction of a 77-foot by 34-foot playground at Roy Waldron Elementary School to be funded by grants and fundraisers as presented at no cost to the board.
You've heard the recommendation. Have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? They worked really hard to get this grant down there, and I appreciate their efforts.
Just, I would like to make a quick comment. I mean, you can ride by any number of schools and you'll see, we've said this before, but it never gets old. You'll see playgrounds that have been constructed by the community or by the PTO. You'll see batting cages that contributors have took part in. You'll see press boxes. You'll see concession stands. And the people automatically assume the taxpayers paying for all that when that's not the case. A lot of these boosters clubs, a lot of the hard-working people within the school have gotten out and generated some kind of revenue to get it done and also supplied the old elbow grease. So we're fortunate to have a lot of the things that we have.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. 9.
Oakland High School International Baccalaureate enrollment criteria for out-of-zone students. Just like the magnet enrollment criteria for elementary and high schools, there's also a need to implement enrollment criteria for students seeking a zoning exemption to attend the only international baccalaureate high school program in Rutherford County. The recommended IB criteria has been modeled after the enrollment criteria adopted for Central Magnet School. We had a lengthy discussion on this at the work session last night, and the criteria has been established that really adds some meat to the enrollment. I appreciate Mr. Spurlight, Mr. Dick, and Mr. Odom kind of spearheading that effort. And we're recommending that you approve the beginning with students enrolling in the 2010-2011 school year. Out-of-zone students seeking enrollment in the Oakland High School International Baccalaureate program must, 1, score at or above the 80th percentile in mathematics and reading language arts on the most recent TCAP or comparable national assessment. Or 2, score at or above the 80th percentile for mathematics and English on the 8th grade Explorer exam. The student must enroll in the freshman and sophomore years in courses that will lead to an IB diploma or an IB merit certificate, which is a minimum of 4 classes each year of advanced honors or above in grades 9 and 10 to retain the zoning exemption.
You've heard the recommendation. Have a motion.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr.
sir. I agree, Mr. Gill, with your assessment. I must say that when this came up a few weeks ago about the IB program and athletes and stuff, the more I found out about the IB program, the more I was frustrated and disappointed with it. But I think this is certainly a step in the right direction, and I thought we had a program before. I don't think we had a program. Now we've got one. I do believe, and I appreciate that fact. I do not think at this time that we'll be throwing money away for something that really didn't exist, in my opinion.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
10, Rutherford County Schools student fees. Student fees are defined as fees for activities that occur during regular school hours, fees for activities and supplies required to participate in courses offered for credit or grade, fees for copies of student records and/or refundable security deposits collected by the school for use of school property for courses offered for credit or grade. Schools may request fees, but no one may be required to pay fees, regardless of income, for activities and supplies required to participate in courses offered for credit or grade. Director submitted a list of fees which, if approved, may be requested for the 2010-2011 school year. In actuality, Mr. McLeod surveyed the principals and they partook in developing the list. That said, we're recommending that you approve the list of school fees permissible to be requested for the 2010-2011 school year.
Heard the recommendation, have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 11, general discussion by board. Anybody have anything they want to discuss? I did my discussing last night. I'm done discussing. But anybody else want to have a discussion? I'm open. Everybody must be mad at me. They don't want to discuss anything. Mr. Gill, you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to say? This is a good opportunity for you to tell the public. We
started summer school yesterday. I think we got close to 800 students enrolled in the high schools. What? How many in the middle, Don? Somewhere 175?
185 in the middle.
Yeah. Obviously, that's a good service that we continue to have. Some schools don't have the luxury of having summer school. It does contribute to our graduation rate. Over the last 2 days, we've been doing performance contracts with the principals. I thought it was pretty interesting to know most principals felt good about the graduation rate. I think Oakland said they may have, I want to say 98, put him on the spot, 93, 94%. I think Mr. Rake said he was up there. Gil Vick said so. So good things are taking place in the schools.
Mr. Blair.
How many seniors in summer school?
I don't have that breakdown. There's a few under 400 at Laverne and a few under 400 at Siegel, where we are, Oakland.
It's 398 at Siegel, 371 at Laverne.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Okay. Anyone else? Mr. Reed, anything we need to know?
We're good.
Good. Well, that's, the buses aren't running, so things got to be good there.
I will
Mr.
say,
Evans, you have anything to say?
we had a good meeting at budget last night. They passed sent on our budget, a 7-0 vote. Also had a 7-0 vote at Health Ed, so I think they appreciated the efforts of the board and our staff for putting together a workable budget. I commend Jeff for his hard work. I appreciated his staff. So looks like it might be easier than it has been in years past. And also, we're on target to open those 3 schools. Although Buchanan's going to come in at the wire, it looks like, but I think Oakland's in pretty good shape. John Ash told me today they're making headway with respect to their the renovation at Central Magnet, and doing some paint work, torn up a lot of the tile. He's real excited, and I too am excited about Central Magnet. That's going to be a great, great opportunity.
Anyone else? Ms. Michaels, you have anything to say? I know you just love to tell me that I've got a TSBA meeting next week.
Yes, you do.
All right, no one else, all minds at ease? Meeting adjourned.